Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Ladies and gentlemen, gamers and game meds, gamers of all races, ages, and any other discriminatory words I could use to separate ourselves into smaller groups. With that said, I am the Black Prion, and if you're wondering why I'm calling this meeting, it's because I found rare footage of the Xbox One in its natural habitat. As you can see in the local landfill, we have a Kinect, an Xbox One controller, and the Xbox One home unit, the home base, the colony, the Ark, the Xbox One console itself. With that said, that's not really why I called you here. We all know why I called you here. Microsoft has stepped in it again. You see here, this guy on Twitter named Oasis Supernova talks to the prestigious Xbox Support 2, and Xbox, and he replies saying, "Gaming on a PC would explain why you have 42 followers. Hook it up in your mom's basement." Because if you play on the PC, you're obviously in your mom's basement. Hello, third story basement. You look mighty beautiful today, third story basement. It's nice to be on the roof of my house and still call it a basement. God, I love this basement. Also, he then says, "Wearing your house on wheels? That means I'm insinuating you live in a trailer. Ha!" So he obviously thinks anyone who doesn't agree with the Xbox One or the Microsoft console agenda is just sitting there, I guess, in a trailer, and I love you, third story trailer. You are a beautiful third story trailer. Give me some depth, third story trailer. Pound it, yeah. So we'll talk about third story trailer. But apparently, he's saying you are an inferior human being if you're not getting an Xbox One. But okay, let's continue to pry. Tells Xbox support will do, have a great evening. Then he just says he's probably just mad he can't afford an Xbox One. Ha ha. I'm not even going to address that with all the stuff I have here. I obviously can't afford it. Oh God, I obviously can't shovel out an extra $100 to go from my PS4 to my Xbox One. But, let's not take it there. Then down here he says he doesn't have a question. He's just one of the crybaby bitches I was referring to. Part of the drinking game. Every time I hear something stupid in this video, I'm starting it now, drinking that. So with that said, what do you think Xbox did? Hey, you can't talk to people that way. Hey, that's rude. That's breaking terms of service. Hey, that's being a straight up asshole. We do not like that. Because they will obviously ban you from the Xbox 360, this console with this controller. They will easily ban you for doing stuff like that to people when you already purchase it. So what do you think they do here? Do you think they tell this guy off? No, not at all, sir. Not at all. Matter of fact, they say our success is only due to amazing fans like you. See, amazing fans like you. So amazing, it seems, they gave him his own personal achievement. At Oasis Supernova, thanks for the support. We appreciate it. Rock solid. Holding the rock. Holding it down for home base. Bravo, Xbox. Your PR department is falling apart at the seams. So you're probably wondering, well, what's next on the agenda? Well, let's look at Phil more in depth. Let's look at his profile. Scrolling down, let's get a little bit, let's get some more, zoom in action going on here. This shouldn't be pretty hard. Zoom in. TGDN Christian. Gun owner. God is great. Oasis is the greatest band in the world. Fins up. Jordan, G-O-A-T. I take my orders from Jamie Lynn E.G. Ohio. I don't know why he's got the constipated face going on up there, but, whatever. We ain't come here to insult you on a personal level. We just came here to insult you on a what in God's name are you thinking and what is Microsoft thinking level. But this right here, this one's an interesting post. This one is about something that happened on Reddit that is typed like it's not by someone who's actually on Reddit. It's actually typed like a Microsoft representative. So let's analyze this, shall we? Last night, I was at Wings with some buddies, and we got onto the topic of PS4 versus the Xbox One. I had always loved the Xbox, but recently after being on Reddit and hearing all the terrible things about it, I was ready to convert. Meaning you haven't converted yet. So you're still on the Xbox bandwagon. You were ready to convert. And then that was when my friend started asking me why. Then I replied, well, you have to be online. He replied, so, you always are. I can imagine them yelling at each other with exclamation points. I can really see this happening. Okay, well, you can't lend games out. Then he says, yes, you can. You just simply can't play it while the other person is. Which is exactly like what happens anyways. Like when you let me borrow Far Cry 3, you already beat it, so you didn't care that you couldn't play it. So you let me borrow it. That's exactly what happens. Except, there's that monetary fee and the meaning of that online code, but, we'll get into that. Then he replied, oh, well, the Kinect is always on. Really? Like, who in their right mind, when they're talking about an argument for themselves on their behalf, types, like, you know how stupid that's when you're mocking somebody. You do the really? Well, the Kinect is always on. Then he replied, so, do you really care? Even though he doesn't go into any other problems with it being a spy bot, whether it, detects, all the hard things, the things about, oh, hey, look, always online, need to be online, forcing developers to have to implement it in their games, even if it's some asinine and egregious way to put it in. But we'll skip all that for now. Then he replies, no, well, there's not as many exclusives. Then he replied, you only play NCAA football, Halo, and the odd other big title game. Do you really care about that? Let's be honest. The odd other big title game. Really. The odd other big title game. So he's limited to 3 games. And this person is going to try to sit there and try to turn gamers, people who straight up game, people who game, who have a broader horizon of the gaming landscape to get an Xbox One for 3 games. That's what he's telling you. NCAA football, Halo, and a game that apparently isn't even good enough to actually mention it. It's just going to be called the odd other title. Really? That's supposed to sway us over to the Xbox One? Oh my god! NCAA football and Halo! Oh my god! I'm going into a coma! I need my Coke! Oh, there's another game? What's it called? Oh, it's just another big odd game? Okay. And then they come out of the coma to continue their conversation. This went on a little bit longer until I realized I was bait. I actually had nothing to go on, just things I had picked up from Reddit Gaming. I told him I would do some research and actually investigate my own opinion. So I googled articles about the Xbox One, and sure enough, in each article, everything made sense. And I went back to Reddit. There was a link on Reddit Best Of about the Xbox One. After reading it, I had a light bulb moment. I had been sucked into the mob mentality without actually doing any actual research for myself. I let everyone else make the judgment call for me. I am proud to say I'm now back on the Xbox One bandwagon, and I just wish people would do the research for themselves rather than let memes and hate articles do it for them. TLDR version, he says, let the mob speak for me when I should have just done the research. But if you had actually really done the research, dug deep, and actually looked behind the scenes, actually used your eyes, used your antennas to actually search and bob, weave, duck, dodge, all the bullcrap, and then dive in, you would realize how much of a cesspool the Xbox One really is when it comes down to its current state, and when you see the people supporting it, how do you even stand these people, like Mr. Phil, not Uncle Phil, but Mr. Phil in the previous 2 slides. Really? Really? You come to Reddit with this? For all I know, this is a Microsoft representative trying to sugarcoat and lick the wounds he's got swelling up all over that swollen tumor called the Xbox One right now. Because right now it looks like a cancerous lump on gaming. I did that because there was actually a Reddit thing called the Best Of about the Xbox One. We know that the best thing about the Xbox One is not many people will be buying it. So, what's on the next slide? Right here, someone had some artistic graffiti, as you can see. It says, defend Rome, race in Prague, challenge the world, all in one, asterisk. Then they put the eyeball, that. Then they put we're watching, and if you want to zoom in and see that bottom line, it says, one good reason to buy a PS4. So whoever did this graffiti, although crazy, I'll give it to you. I'll give you some claps. That's kind of humorous. So, just something to lighten the mood, because we're about to hit this. There's a guy who brought up the point that I said that many of you people were trying to counter. Many of you people were giving me the finger in the PM box and in the comment section and on other forums saying, well, if you travel, I'm sure the Xbox One will have a way around it. Well, look what Xbox support had to say. Someone said, at Dohedimark, If your account is banned, you also forfeit the licensed games to use any games that have licenses tied to it. That is listed into the terms of use. So pretty much what they're saying is validation of, yes, if you get mistakenly banned for even the stupidest, most egregious reason, which they do, still do, you do realize you lose everything. Everything. Hard wipe. Fatality. Finish him. It's over. Exposed. Done. Finito. Gone. Annihilated. You're poor now. Waste of money. Licenses. Licenses. Okay, we're going to skip that. So, let me take another drink. And let's move on to this one. Now, you probably can't see this one, so I'm going to really zoom in. Then I'm going to scroll up to the top right for the ease of the viewership. And up here, there's this guy named Mick, for lack of a better name, due to the fact that, well, you know, we got to have privacy. We just can't have everybody's face being shown. So he says, let's stop the crazy rumors to clear things up about the Xbox One. And pretty much he does every single damage control tactic Microsoft has ever employed ever. Then this girl named Katie says still not sold. Way not to buy in. Way not to just get sucked in by random crap that is just being thrown out in an arbitrary way. Thank you. Then Mick says Sony has a history of fucking up. From the infamous 6-week hack to the crappy software, it's bad when I have to turn my mic on and off on the dashboard, to getting DLC 2 months late. Hold on to that one. Hold on to that. Then he says exclusives aren't all that either. Oh my god, let's play Killzone. It's so awesome, said no one ever. Okay. Then James says, let's not forget Microsoft has had its share of mess-ups, but they so promptly fixed them, so who knows, with all of this very public backlash could mean Microsoft backs down with Xbox Big Brother. I mean, Xbox One. Then let's scroll down. And then he says the Mick guy says the only mix-ups that come to mind is the red ring. Do you know of others? Yeah, when you have a red ring that whiffs into a red ring, into another red ring, making you buy 4 of the same console. Then you can also figure in the fact that out of all the last-gen consoles, you were the only one that had to pay to stay online. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You're the only one that had a barrage, an infinite wave of advertisements coming at you like the enemies in an old-school Defender game or R-Type. You just had advertisements here, there, everywhere, all over the place, and it's just mind-boggling. You didn't have any good sales. You didn't get any access to really good betas. The games that you got from the PC, a lot of them that were ported down to the console, like Dungeon Fighter Online, were these most gimped and most retardedly ass-backwards gimped inferior versions that are not worth the time of day. At the same time, you had people getting banned left and right for no good reason at all, and Microsoft's support team doesn't even do investigations. There were people who were getting banned on Xbox 360 because when they were playing Halo 4, they found out once you got the orbital strike gun, you can go back to an earlier part of the level, and if you didn't kill any of the enemies, you could wipe out all the enemies and get a bunch of points. People were getting suspended and banned because apparently they were hacking their score. Really? Okay. But those are the only ones he knows of, right? Wink. Then he goes down here and says, still getting the PS4, said everyone else. Which is pretty much true. Microsoft's whole release and social media campaign for the Xbox One, which is a dumb name too, has been a disaster. They think they are untouchable in the gaming market, but the PS4 had grabbed people's trust and attention. I am an Xbox guy, so I'm disappointed for the record. Then he says, disaster how? Every time I ask the question, no one gives me a legitimate answer, even though he just gave you a legitimate answer, and I gave you many legitimate answers. Okay. Then he said, they don't have a big name game demos to reveal. They couldn't answer multiple questions clearly asked about their product. No one really likes Kinect. The thing looks like a VCR, and every interview I have... Oh, excuse me. I apologize for that. Every interview that let me scroll down here. Every interview that I have heard what has their PR saying different things about the product. They aren't even on the same page. Now he says, you're hearing diluted half-truths from people on the Sony side. Am I the only one who actually watched E3? The Sony rep could barely speak English. No way I heard that right. You're hearing diluted half-truths from people on the Sony side. Am I the only one who actually watched E3? The Sony rep could barely speak English. He's not like, he doesn't even. That's not even his native. You. If we go over there to sell something for the Xbox One, you don't speak Japanese. Shut. You know what? Okay. Whatever. I'm that one just. Screw it. Anyway, this article clears up anything you may have heard and puts the actual truth on it. The actually truth on it? If you're still not convinced, that's fine. I did my part. But I have owned a PS3 and an Xbox 360. I have trophies and achievements. I'm speaking from experience. My experience that Sony has a history with me of a bad product. Okay, fine. Oh, I completely agree. I like the 360 a heck of a lot more than the PS3. I mean, it isn't really a comparison. But I may switch to the PS4 based on the difference I have seen in interviews, coverage. If Microsoft is able to change a couple things, I might be tempted. I don't think the Sony guy was English. Enjoy those crappy exclusives, 30 FPS on Sony boys. We'll keep the seat warm for you when you keep running back to Microsoft. Even though the PS4 is the more powerful okay. Alright. You know, at least when we want to show our tech demos, we don't have to rely on just showing a PC version or, I don't know, demoing the game on the PC to begin with. But, you know, whatever. Apparently you know more than we do, right? Then he says, lol, he definitely wasn't English, but that's the point. The Sony side is convoluting everything and twisting it. This is the truth here. That's all. So anybody who doesn't speak great English is obviously a liar and a deceiver who's doing nothing more than trying to poke inferior holes in bulletproof logic, apparently. But these are the type of people getting the Xbox One, so enjoy the rage quits, because I could sense them. But remember that big point that I brought up about traveling? Remember that? That huge point that I brought up? And everybody said, once again, Xbox One will have a way around that now, won't they? Here you go. Gregory Ivizik, or GI4OUR, says, Xbox One will block activation of games outside the IP range of a supported country. What if I travel a lot? Well, Xbox, they did come up with a solution. You'll be able to play when you return home. I travel with an Xbox 360 for road gaming. Pretty much, as I said, not keeping the gamer in mind. Just letting you know. Then, yep, we got some more Reddit stuff. So let's bring it back to the basics and see what's really going on here. Alright, so the guy says, and I quote, can someone please tell me the reason behind all the hostility against having to be connected to the internet once every day? Or is it just based on your childish don't tell me what to do mentality? Besides taking such a simple and reasonable requirement as being an all-out attack on your freedoms and as corporation dictatorship, what other reason could there be to be so up in arms? It actually requires less effort to stay connected than to connect, disconnect, connect, disconnect. Most of you have no problem with keeping your PCs connected all the time already, so what is the real reason that you are all dead set against your gaming console being connected? Why do you fear being connected all the time anyway? Alright, here you go, my good man. Say the power goes out. Oh, that sucks. Power's out. That means you can't play any games. However, let's say, oh, I don't know, a simple thing happens that happens more common than the power going out. Your internet goes out. Well, looks like you cannot play your Xbox One, but you can play your PS4, your Wii U, your PS3, your Wii U, and hey, you can still play your single-player games on your Xbox 360. Looks like the 360 could do something that the Xbox One can't do. Now, with that said, is there any other problem with being connected online all the time? Certainly. For a lot of people, if we're playing on the Xbox One and we don't have the greatest internet of all time, you do realize if it needs a constant 1.5 Mbps download speed, which is not that hard to obtain, but let's just say you're doing that, and then someone else wants to watch a Netflix movie, you're going to have some sort of conflict going on here. You understand that everything in your house will not operate perfectly fine at optimum speeds all day, every day. Then you even had people at Microsoft even saying, well, we understand that the problem maybe might insist, might happen, your internet speed may drop. So tether your phone. Tether my phone. Tether my phone. So if I'm in a spot where my phone somehow loses connection, because phones' connections are just as spotty, if not more so, don't get me wrong, they have great connections, but by no means is it a consistent connection to the internet. So if it drops, not only am I running up the internet charges on my bill, Not only am I wasting download time on my phone, and which will be running out pretty rapidly, not only that, if I do too much, I may get throttled by my internet service provider due to the fact that I'm tethering my phone, which a lot of phone companies don't even like you doing to begin with. And the big one of the, I guess I can't say trifecta, the big quadrant here is, oh, you're using your phone. Isn't that lovely? But when have I ever needed a phone to really be a big indicator of how good my console is as it connects to the internet? It's fabulous, isn't it? Flawless logic, though. Then he says, for all of those of you who say you want the right to choose when your internet and when you connect to the internet and disconnect, is it really about your choice being taken away? Or is it really about you feeling hurt or violated? Even though I gave you reasons where I don't really feel hurt or violated, I gave you logical reasons, but is it really for that your rights are being encroached upon? Most of you who are complaining the most already connect your consoles online, and many of your complainers even say that you're currently stay connected all the time. So if you have no problem staying connected, then why are you bitching because the Xbox One needs to briefly connect at least once every 24 hours? Well, due to the fact that, your games are cloud reliant, and if they are quote-unquote cloud reliant, that means you always have to be online, not just once per day check-ins. And if that's the case, well, guess what? If you disconnect from the cloud, your game should just go all retarded, or they've been lying to you the whole time. Because if it doesn't happen, then guess what? It's not cloud reliant now, is it? At that point, you got to remember, there's a lot of people out there who do not have the best internet signals. Their internet connection isn't always going to have the greatest speeds. Their connection is going to be spotty. All those people will be wasting their time and money with an Xbox One. Those people who like to travel a lot, they are also discounted and their opinion is invalid because Microsoft says they don't care about them either. Oh, you want to travel to a country that doesn't currently support? You want to take a vacation to Japan? You want to go drive down to Poland? You want to go to the UK? You want to stay in certain parts of the USA with spotty connections? Well, guess what, sir? And or madam, and or boy or girl? Guess what? Your opinion doesn't matter because yeah, it's not supported out there, so good luck trying to play your games. Oh, wait, you can't. Oh, you can't even play single player. And that right there is the problem. Oh, I got 3 drinks to take. Someone's going to make a gif of that and change that can to an object I really don't want it to be. And whoever does it, go kill yourself. Moving forward, it's not really about choice. You have the choice. If you really don't want to connect online, then don't buy an Xbox One. But that's a pretty fucking dumb reason to choose not to buy such an awesome machine. Now we're getting into it. Especially since at some point you'll want to connect your console and play online. Besides, I'm sure the Xbox One made connecting completely optional. You'd buy an Xbox One and choose to keep it connected all the time anyway. So it's really you making an issue out of nothing. Even though I just gave you every valid reason why that is a bad... whatever. It's obviously only because you ignorantly read more into the issue than really exists and speculate on and question Microsoft's intentions on being some controlling dictatorial spy network dead set on encroaching your freedoms, while at the same time you ignorantly choose to blind yourself to the real benefits of remaining connected. Real benefits of remaining connected. I'm using my PC. And we do turn that off. And we do like to play a lot of our games offline without having to deal with any sort of DRM, even on the PC. So, this guy is being ignorant as hell, so. Alright, continuing. Wake up! Don't delude yourselves in thinking that you're so important that Microsoft wants to spy on and control you. Trust me, they are not trying to tell you what to do, even though if you can't afford good internet, go out and buy an Xbox 360. They are not trying to spy on you. They're not trying to control you nor take away your freedom. So stop acting like spoiled little kids and screaming at the top of your lungs, don't tell me what to do. You're not the boss of me. The reasonable, unburdened, some need for the Xbox One to connect for 24 hours is to simply, 1, enable game developers to produce vastly enhanced games with much larger, vastly detailed, persistent worlds and universes, encompassing hundreds of thousands of players simultaneously. Hey, bruh. Xbox 360. Remember when you had all those hundreds of thousands of people playing Halo 3 on the Halo 3's launch? Yeah, I thought so. Hey, PS4, you know all the games you got, and you know how many people are online at the same time all the time? Oh, that's what I thought. Yeah, I remember that. Hey, Wii, I'm sorry, Wii. Hey, but Wii U though. Oh, oh, alright. Okay. 2. Keep the console and operating system up to date. Hey, Wii. Yeah, not to give you a shout out in regular Nintendo Wii. Remember how when we connected to the internet and you updated for us? Yeah, good stuff. Hey, PS4. Oh, PS3. Oh, oh. Looks like everybody wants to give a show of hands today. Okay. 3. Authenticate the console and make sure there is no hardware violations such as mod installs, pirated discs, make sure the correct accounts are running, and non-stolen hardware. PS3, 360, Well, once again, I gotta leave you out of this one, but you still the most sold console, so there's obviously something going on there that this guy has clearly not found out yet. Looks like everybody's on board here today. Again. Microsoft is only trying to give gamers the best experience, and connecting Xbox One will enable them to do so. And yeah, that's about it. We have covered all the images I have here today, and we'll be back with more Let's Beat the Hell Out of the Xbox One news. See you later. Let's beat the hell out of the Xbox One.